essentially I will go through the whole list. And starting in grade school, it was Sister Bernadine. In high school, it was Father Novak. In graduate school, it was a really great professor that I had. His name was John Smith. And then I moved into business, and Dave Wallace was my mentor for my first 5 years in business. And then I met a fellow named Jim Senegal back in 1978. And whether he wants to or not, he's been my mentor ever since.
My mentor was my father. My father was a minister and well known in the community. He mentored most of the kids in the community came to him for advice, as did their parents, and I always appreciated his candidness and his ability to want to make sure everybody had success, both in their personal lives and in their religious lives.
Currently, I would consider my mentor to be a colleague of mine. I'm kind of going down the same career path that she is, so I'm getting a lot of advice that I wouldn't get elsewhere.
My professional mentor, his name is Enrique Morales. He works at the UW. He gives me more guidance on what is practical ways to, I guess, promote myself in a more professional level. Faculty route is Dr. Frances Contreras. She's more into molding me into a faculty professional, ways that I can achieve my dream of being a faculty member. And then I have my life mentor, who is Gene Kim, and he kind of just instructs me to be more of a balanced working professional.
I first start off, and most folks do, with parents. My parents are solely my mentors, but as I entered, to go to school and the workforce and all that stuff, I've had many mentors, folks that took me aside and led me away and showed me, skill set, and mostly showed me, the value, what I could do or what I could become.
Definitely starting at home with my mom, who raised me. My older siblings, who were all a little bit older than I was. All of those people have made an impact on my life, and then throughout my professional career, I've had a number of positive people in my life. Even my current supervisor, he kind of mentors me in his own weird, dysfunctional way. But yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have a number of different mentors throughout my life.
What we had found is that there had been numerous people that we knew that tried to help low-income students by giving them a scholarship or some kind of stipend to help them get through college. However, what we also found was that if in fact we did that, sometimes these students would get lost, and without having a mentor and knowing where to go in these colleges and universities, they ended up dropping out very early on.
I tried to emulate what my dad did. I've been in the same community in Seattle in the Central District since 1989. I worked in elementary, middle, and high schools there. Everybody knows where I live, and so they know that I am the person within the community that if you want to talk about getting to college, that I would have some resources or know which direction to point them as far as financial aid and what the expectations are for first-generation students going to college. So I've tried to follow in my dad's footsteps, not as big as being able to fill those big shoes, but at least be an icon in the community that allows people to know where they need to go if they want to go to college or be successful.
I entered the workforce, as a kid that was confused. I was out there like most kids, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? And I had an opportunity to take a work-study job in Health and Human Services that time. And I had a couple folks that pulled me aside and really worked with me. I was a little rough around the edges, and gave me a perception of this is what it could be, and encouraged me to go to school, to continue my education, to get a college degree. But they also simple things like, how do you want to be perceived in the workforce? Again, a little rough around the edges, kind of ran the streets. First day of the job, I'm showing up in Army fatigues and a t-shirt. probably not the best business attire. I had someone pull the tide. How do you want folks to look at you? How do you want folks to perceive you? Is that the perception? They didn't tell me, you know what, don't dress like that. They said, is that how you want it? How do you want folks to interpret you?
I think just recently, a mentor of mine, I was having self-doubt, more of the imposter syndrome, and a mentor told me that I needed to imagine myself where I wanted to be, whether if that meant dressing the part, acting the part, or pursuing goals, that I needed to imagine myself in that situation, whether professionally or in a more, a life perspective.
When I was in the Army, I definitely had a couple of sergeants who took me under their wing and helped me to become a good leader and really taught me, what a leader really is. And so when I got out of the Army and went to college, I was a little independent, and I never really asked for help. I didn't understand that there was help available, and it was my right to ask for it. And so I navigated that time of my life in college really by myself. Nobody in my family had graduated from college, and so there was a lot of things that I could have done better, a lot of things that I should have done, but because I didn't ask for help and nobody offered that to me, nobody extended, hey, let me help you, with this, I missed out.
Gets more out of it than the kid does, and I do believe that and stuff like that, because it gives you a chance to reflect. And working with young folks, there's some benefits. It keeps you young, keeps you in the know what they're doing and stuff like that. Now I know how to do things like Facebook, Twitter, and things like that. I know how to use my iPhone. So at the end of the day, it does keep you in the thing, and it keeps you connected to your community.
Part of any person's personal growth should be a reflection of seeing others successful. When I came to the foundation, I had to leave Garfield, and I was there as a Gear Up Avid coordinator, and to find out that some of my mentees had decided that I wasn't going to be able to still fulfill the promise of helping them get to college. And so being able to go back and having that conversation with a few of them about the importance of persistence, and I wasn't going to go back on my word of helping them get to college just because I took a new job. And so to have that impact, to go back and make sure that they were on track and doing the things that were necessary to be college ready was difficult, but it was well worth it, because out of that class of 28, 26 have graduated from college now.
One memorable experience I have with my mentee is when he ended up getting into Washington State University. He didn't think he could get in, but I kept encouraging him and he persisted.
By acknowledging that you can mentor directly and indirectly, one, having an intentional purpose to seek out opportunities to mentor people, but also having others seek your mentorship has been, for me, part where I see myself as a mentor, because I know there's people behind me who are trying to travel the same path as I am, and I can give them information and provide support when they need it.
It's just today I had a former student who graduated in 08. Last time I worked with him intensively was June of 08, and I haven't really heard from him. I've heard about him that he had dropped out of school, and he had called, wanting to get back, and just matured a lot over these last 3 years, almost 4 years now, and was receptive to that tough love that I had given him back then. It took him a little while to understand it. It took a little while for it to sink in, but I think the things he was saying today on the phone, and he really randomly called out of the blue. It was good, that, okay, it's sticking. It took a little while, but it is. And so now that he's made that choice to have me back in his life, I'm more than happy to do it and to help him navigate this educational path that he has. So it's very rewarding.
very important that we recruit these mentors so that when they would hit a wall or have a real problem with some kind of a situation, that they would have some kind of an adult to call who could lead them through that and get them past that so that they could continue on their academic journey.
For mentees, seeing people that look like them and have had similar experiences is really important, especially if you can also provide along with that some direction and guidance and specifics to help them reach their goals.
When I was in high school, I was in the Achiever Scholarship Program, which included a mentorship component. Because of what I gained through that experience, I've decided to become a hometown mentor to current high school students.
I am a first-generation Latino. My parents grew up in Mexico. They came to the United States with only 3 pairs of clothing in pursuit of the American dream. I am now a second-year master's student at the College of Ed. I'm trying to change the mold that students of any creed or any race can pursue the American dream, just as long as they have, just as long as they work hard, just as long as they believe in themselves, and just as long as they can see themselves doing great things. Keep your eyes on the prize, and that's kind of what I think mentoring is important.
If you take it seriously, and if you understand the responsibility, you can look yourself in the mirror and say that you made a difference in somebody's life. You can work in isolation 12 hours a day on a computer, not have any personal contact. But if you take the time to mentor and you sit down with a young person and really genuinely help them to become who they want to be, yeah, you get to make that difference. You can look yourself in the mirror, and it does pay back because those lasting relationships do just that. They last, and that mentorship evolves from something that you were doing out of service to they become a part of your life and an extended member of your family. So why should you do it? Because you get to make a difference.
Invest in the future.
Invest in the future.
Invierte en el futuro.
Invest in my future today.